Hello everyone out there on Racer TV, and thanks for joining us here for the recap episode of round number 7 of the Progressive Grand National Cross Country Series presented by Specialized. We're here in St. Clairsville, Ohio for the return of the Powerline Park GNCC. In a few years since we saw the Powerline Park course, we're going to get to see the best riders in the ATV world go head to head here on Racer TV.
Are you ready to go? GNCC Racing!
Once again, everybody, welcome to the Kenda Powerline Park GNCC here for 2024. It has been several years since we've raced on this property, since 2018 to be exact, since we've raced here in St. Clairsville, but we will be making our return here this weekend. My name is Jackson Burl, and I'll be taking you through today's race. But before we get things started, let's take a look back at just a few weeks ago at the Hoosier GNCC in Indiana. And to start off our Specialized race recap, as always, we'll take a look at the Canati Hole Shot Award. And it was going to be the 723 of Walker Fowler, who was going to find his way out front heading into the woods. But as you can see here in the first camera shot, it was going to be Bryson Neal who was going to overtake the lead early. A very slippery course here at the Hoosier. Very similar to the conditions we'll be seeing here today. Walker Fowler holding on to that second place position early in the race. He gives us a head nod, letting us know he is good to go. Here we see Adam McGill just ahead of Josh Merritt. And now making his way up, it's going to be Wyatt Wilkin. Wyatt bobbing the head, letting us know he's fired up as well. And at the front of the pack, we see Neal just ahead of Fowler. This is going to be the pass that made the race, as Fowler makes his way around Neal at what everybody is calling a Borich move. Walker Fowler, Borich's Neal to tie Chris Borich as the most winning rider in GNCC history with 75 wins. And now we take a look at the top 10 overall. It was Fowler, Wilkin, and Neal after a penalty for Neal here at round number 6. And a quick look at the championship points, and we'll hear from Walker Fowler.
Man, he checked up so early trying to get into it was really slick. And I was like, dude, I got so much room to I'm either going to miss him because I carried so much speed, or, I caught him perfect. And it slowed both of us down, but it wasn't super aggressive. I mean, it was aggressive, but it wasn't dirty. And man, I was the same thing in my head. I'm like, man, Chris Borich did this to me almost 10 years ago, and I might just get to, tie him on a day like today. One of the best GNCC racers of all time, and now there is no winningest. There's two.
What an achievement there from Walker Fowler. As we turn things over to today's race here at round number 7, your track length going to be a little shorter than what you see on the side, but it is going to be a 2-hour race, as now we see the XC1 class jockey for positions here in the Canati Hole Shot. Who is it going to be? The number 1 in there, but it looks like it is going to be the number 5. Oh, is he going to be able to do it? And he does. Josh Merritt is going to be your Hole Shot winner here in this one. Going to get some cash there from Canati Tires as he heads off into the woods with Bryson Neal just behind him. Following Neal, looks like it's going to be Wyatt Wilkin, Jared McClure, and then Walker Fowler holding on to the 5th place position. Now taking a look here at our first camera shot, a muddy race here today as we got plenty of rain in our AM ATV race this morning. We see Josh Merritt still in the lead, but man, what a line he picked through there as Bryson Neal finds a smoother way around. Wyatt Wilkin going to choose to take that line, as it appears the rest of the XC1 class going to also take that smoother way around. And finding a smoother way around is going to be critical here today. If you follow the GNCC Racing Series or race yourself, you know just how slick these conditions are here in Ohio. We will be visiting the John Penton later this year, which sets the standard for sticky mud. Today, going to have a similar type of course as what we would see there at that race. Now turning things over to the XC2 Pro Amateur Start, where we see some carnage in turn number 1. But it's going to be the 171 Phoenix Racing Yamaha machine of Grayson Eller who is going to lead them into turn number 2 and take the BNR Motorsports Hole Shot Award. and he's going to be able to hang on to it. He rounds off turn number 3 and heads into the woods as we look above from the Yamaha Racing live drone. And the points battle for the 2024 XC2 Championship still very much alive between Grayson Eller and Alex Thiemann, with those two riders leading the way in class points and sitting 13th and 14th in the overall 2024 points. But take a look at this. Here at our first camera shot, it is going to be Kevin Yoho, the retired pro rider. Seeing the weather out here today, he decided he was going to come out and play in the mud, and he finds himself in the lead of the XC2 class with Tucker Wyatt, Dalton Keys in the top 3 positions. Grayson Eller finds himself in 4th after the whole shot with Alex Elioff, Chris Howard, Braxton Gross, Keaton Henderson, Dylan Walraven, and Alex Thiemann there in the top 10 positions. And checking back in with the XC1 class, it looks like it's going to be the Phoenix Racing Yamaha machine of Bryson Nill leading the way. Wyatt Wilkin holding on to that second place position. He's been off to a great season along with that guy sitting in 3rd, Josh Merritt. Coming around now is going to be Walker Fowler. And just behind them, Jared McClure. Look like possibly Ronnie Rush in there. Hunter Hart way back in the pack, man. Hunter Hart, he is going to have some ground to make up here in this one. Here comes the Gator, Adam McGill. Austin Abney just behind him, and there's Chris Borage. So things have kicked off here at round number 7. The Powerline Park GNCC. We're going to get a word in with our sponsors, and then we'll be back to racing here in Ohio.
Progressive GNCC Racing is brought to you by Progressive. Progressive could save you hundreds of dollars on your automobile and motorcycle insurance. Specialized E-Turbo bicycles. It's you, only faster. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
All right, everybody, welcome back here to St. Clairsville, Ohio, where we are doing some racing in the mud, GNCC style, with the number 1, Bryson Nill, leading the way. The rider you see on screen making easy work of it. Man, he is on a mission here in this one. Absolutely flying. Take a look at the gap between them now. It looks like it's still going to be the 621 machine, Wyatt Wilkin, holding on to the 2nd place position. But Josh Merritt in the 3rd place position. How about it? The top 3 make it top 4 Ohio natives. As Walker Fowler checks in, we see Jared McClure on the number 9 machine just behind him. McClure going to be in that 5th place position. Coming into today, Bryson Nill having a huge points lead over Walker Fowler. Fowler going to need to do something about it here today if he wants to keep up here in 2024. Sitting in the 3rd place position, going to be Josh Merritt, followed by Wyatt Wilkin for the overall series points in the 3rd and 4th place positions. Those two riders, what more can you say? They've been off to a great season here in 2024. I'm sure we can expect more of the same here in the coming years. Looking back up to the front of the pack, the number 1, Bryson Nill, he's still holding on to it at this point in time. Look at the intensity Nill is carrying as he makes his way through what looks like a riverbed on a normal day, possibly just a road. But on a day like today, as much rain as we've got, looking more like what you would think of as a stream as these riders make their way through the rocks. Wyatt Wilkin still holding on to it. Josh Merritt just behind him there. Looks like some lap riders going to be in between them. And I believe this is going to be McClure making his way through. So hard to tell these riders apart on a day like today with so much mud. Having to rely on looking at the cars, looking at the riding style, looking at the gear itself. I'm sure you guys are having the same problem at home, but there's no doubt about it. That guy that just came through was your leader, Bryson Nill, on the big number 1 machine. Man, Bryson Nill, he has been such a force to reckon with here in 2024. After taking home the championship in 2023, he has defended that championship and defended it well. Taking home the first 5 wins of the season. You see him on screen now making his way down the hill. He had a little bit of trouble there at round number 6, taking home physically the 2nd place. However, getting penalized down to that 3rd place position. You know he's hungry for another win here today to show everybody he is still the man with the plan. Fowler now making his way up into that 2nd place position. We see him making his way through the same section we just saw Neal making his way through. Fowler looking solid here in this one, able to navigate this Ohio terrain. Now we'll take a look behind him. It's going to be the 621 Wyatt Wilkin in the third place position. Wilkin, one of our taller riders, looking like he is using all of that length that he has, stretching it out as he makes his way up the hill. McClure going to be just behind him. And look at this, Josh Merritt now moving back, but man, he is on the move as he takes that outside line. Back up to the front of the field, Bryson Neal still holding on to it at this point in the race. And how about it? Now we see the number 5 Josh Merritt taking over that second place position. Wyatt Wilkin moving down to the third place, Jared McClure in fourth. Now we look back, where is Walker Fowler? A huge shakeup here in this race. Fowler just running in that second place position there in that last camera shot, not able to catch him there in that one at all, knowing he has at least moved back to that 5th place or further. This could be very devastating for his championship hopes here in 2024, as Bryson Neal, like we said, already a 20-point lead going into round number 7. Walker Fowler really needing to catch up. Getting a shot there of the rest of the riders making their way through. Now we see Bryson Neal once again still leading the way. A water bottle hanging out the mouth. He's getting some hydration, trying to take this one home. Now we see your second place rider. It is going to be the number 5 Josh Merritt. Also going to be getting some hydration there as he bogs down that machine. Wyatt Wilkin holding on to the 3rd place position, and Jared McClure back in the 4th place position. This is going to be one of McClure's best runs of the year so far. And how about this, folks? We have a new leader. Wyatt Wilkin going to be leading the way with Josh Merritt holding on to the 2nd place position. And now looking back, things are tight with Bryson Neal holding on to 3rd. Ronnie Rush going to be in the 4th place position. Austin Abney holding on to 5th. And then I believe now we're going to catch a glimpse of Walker Fowler making his way through. And back to the top we go, taking a look now at the 621. Wyatt Wilkin, your leader at the moment. And it looks like Wyatt Wilkin going to be able to put quite a bit of distance between him and the 2nd place rider of Josh Merritt, who we are currently waiting for. Both of those riders not only looking for their first win of 2024, looking for their first win ever here in the Grand National Cross Country Series. So a big day for both of those riders. And one thing we might not talk about enough is just how talented these riders are, just how tough these riders are. Whether it's your amateur riders out on the course doing the same 2-hour race as your XC1 and XC2 riders, these riders truly put themselves and their machines to the test. And it's amazing to see week in and week out what these riders are capable of, as we're getting to see Josh Merritt on screen right now doing just what we were talking about, putting himself to the test. And wow, right on cue, Josh Merritt. Not only is he going to be putting himself to the test, it looks like he has put Wyatt Wilkin to the test, as he has found himself in the number 1 position. And just like we said, both of these riders looking for their first overall win here in the GNCC Series. Could today be a day that we see a first-time winner here at the Kenda Powerline Park? Very well could be, as they put themselves in a great spot. And here he comes now, Wyatt Wilkin making his way through in the 2nd place position. However, it looks like he is going to have some company behind him, and that is not the person you want to see on your heels. The big number 1 of Bryson Neal making his way through in the 3rd place position. And my biggest question is going to be, how is Bryson Neal going to handle this as we get into the later stages of the race? Is he going to be anxious to get back up to the top spot, or is he going to be cool, calm, and collected, knowing he's got that championship points lead? Jared McClure, he came through still holding on to that 4th place position, as now we pan up to what only I could call the river at this point. As we see your leaders making their way through, Wilkin makes his way up to the top of the hill, and they head back out. And another shot here of one of the rougher sections out here on the course, straight from the rocks up the hill, carrying all that water back up onto the hill with them, making things very slippery. And I'm sure the majority of you guys out there on Racer TV watching this highlight video are going to be racers yourself, so you know exactly what these riders are having to deal with. Not only is the track super slippery, but the bike going to be slippery as well. Going to try to keep those hands dry, going to try to keep clear vision, but that is going to be a true task out here on a track like we have today, especially with this Ohio mud. As now we see the Ohio native of Josh Merritt making his way by on the number 5 machine. He's still going to be holding on to the lead with Wyatt Wilkin just behind him in the second place position. Wilkin going to get caught up there with a lap rider making his way up the hill, but I'm sure that is going to be the least of Wilkin's problems out here on this course. So many things our cameras aren't catching. I can only imagine what these riders have been going through out here. A 13.5 mile course originally, abbreviated just a bit due to the weather, roughly a 10-mile course, and you can imagine all the things that could happen in 10 miles time in a race of this caliber. So now we're going to pan the cameras back to try to catch a glimpse of your third place rider. Last time we saw it was the number 1 of Bryson Neal. We'll see, is he still going to be hanging on to it? We would not expect this kind of gap between your first 2 riders back to Bryson Neal, so it appears Neal having some trouble here in this one. Not only Neal having trouble, Fowler also not in the picture here as far as our podium goes. And another rider that we're not seeing here in this race, Hunter Hart. So some of our top riders here in the series finding their way in the back of the pack. And that just shows mud is the great equalizer, and we have saw plenty of it here in GNCC in the last few years. But as you can see here today, the sun has came out, so that is going to throw a whole new set of problems at the riders as things begin to dry out just a little bit. We're going to see it get even slicker in some spots, and we're going to see a lot of weight added to these bikes. Going to be hard to keep clear vision. But we still have plenty more racing to go as Josh Merritt leads the way over Wyatt Wilkin. Going to be an exciting finish. It looks like we are set to have a first-time winner. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to the Kenda Powerline Park GNCC.
Progressive GNCC Racing is brought to you by Progressive. Progressive could save you hundreds of dollars on your automobile and motorcycle insurance. Specialized e-turbo bicycles. It's you, only faster. Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com. Get ready.
And just like that, we are back racing here at the Kenda Powerline Park GNCC. And look at that, Josh Merritt still going to be leading the way with Wyatt Wilkin just behind him. The gap has closed up here in the final stages of the race. We'll see, is Wyatt Wilkin going to be able to pull something off? Can Josh Merritt hold on to it? Now taking a look back to the third place position, it looks like it's still Bryson Neal holding on to it, but he's going to have some company behind him at what looks to be Jared McClure trying to get his best finish of the year. Taking a look just behind him, so hard to tell exactly who these riders are, but I do believe that is Austin Abney there in the fight for that 5th to 6th place position. And now take a look at this, your leader Josh Merritt now getting stuck on the hill. Where is Wyatt Wilkin? There he is, and Wilkin gonna get stuck as well just alongside of him. How about that? Not something you see ever hardly in GNCC, where the top 2 pros get stuck in a hill climb. That just shows, like we mentioned a minute ago, when the rains start, things start to tack up. It is suction cupping these riders. Josh Merritt, he is already headed back down the hill, and now it looks like Wilkin gonna do the exact same thing. These riders have an alternate line that they can take. The hill climb, it gains you time. If you have to take the bypass, that is gonna cost you time, but it looks like both of these riders gonna have to take the bypass here if they wanna get around to it. Now taking a look from our Yamaha Racing Live drone, it looked like Josh Merritt had the position as they made their way off of the hill climb. And now we see Ricky Towery waving the checkered flag, and the number 5, Josh Merritt, gonna be able to hold on and get it done and take home his first ever overall win here in the Grand National Cross Country Series. And what better way to do it than in your home state? Congratulations to Josh Merritt. You can see the emotion written all over him as he makes his way off the course. And Wyatt Wilkin, your second place finisher, gonna congratulate him on the win, as well as your third place finisher, Bryson Neal, with a big congratulations. We're gonna hear what Josh Merritt had to say about his first win.
I just can't believe it. That was the most crazy race I've ever been into. Guys stuck everywhere. I mean, me and Wyatt didn't make it up the main hill at the power point the last lap. I went all the way around. I was like 30 seconds. Anybody could have went up the hill and I would have never known. I was just pushed to the finish. That was insane. I can't believe it. The race winner.
And that that was your Specialized post-race interview with your winner, Josh Merritt. We're going to catch up real quick with your second place, Wyatt Wilkin, to see what he had to say about today's race.
Man, there was a lot going through my head. I was really nervous, like shaky, like, man, I started getting sick to myself. Like, what if I do pull this together? Sure enough, I got stuck, and I was like, well, now you're going to have to rethink this because you got to get by Josh. And, dude, Josh was riding really good, and the last thing I wanted to do was get stuck and ruin a podium position. That's the biggest thing. Like, you got to be smart out there, and I'll take a second over an eighth any day.
A hard-fought race there for Wilkin, taking home a second place on the day. Bryson Neal, Jared McClure, and Chris Borge, your top 5 on today's race. Let's catch up with Bryson Neal, your third place.
Dad, he's cutting out some wire out of my axle right now. I thought I blew my rear shock because I took a hit and my rear end didn't come back up. So this wire, he's cutting it out right now. It almost DNF'd me. So at that point, I thought I had a rear shock blown or something. So I was just like, get to the finish line. And we only had a mile and a half to go. Eased this thing in, brought it home, had a great day.
And there you heard it from Bryson Neal himself. That is going to be your Specialized post-race interviews for your top 3 riders, as we see Neal, Fowler, Merritt, Wilkin, and McGill atop of the series championship point standings. We'll take a look real quick at the Specialized race recap, where we saw Bryson Neal battling it out with Josh Merritt there on the hole shot. Neal looking like he was the one that grabbed that Canati hole shot. But what you didn't see in that shot is Josh Merritt overtake the lead and lead them into the woods. However, things were going to change quick. As you see Walker Fowler, he is in the fight here at this point in the race. Jared McClure just behind them. McClure held in there solid all day, one of his best rides of the season. But this is where things start to really change as Wyatt Wilkin overtakes the lead. Josh Merritt moves back to that second place position. And this is when we see Bryson Neal move all the way back down to the third place position. And Walker Fowler, he moves out of the top 5 positions. Very uncharacteristic of Fowler, having some troubles here today at round number 7. I'm sure he will rebound at round number 8. But as for today, it was all about Merritt and Wilkin. As now you see in this camera shot, Merritt has overtaken the lead, pushing Wyatt Wilkin to the second place position. And this is where we saw the most exciting part of the race. As you see on the right side of your screen, Merritt going to be able to descend down the hill first after getting stuck. And that is going to be enough for him to take home his first ever win here at the Kenda Powerline Park GNCC, a historical return to the Powerline Park facility. And we thank you all for watching it right here on Racer TV. And we look forward to seeing you at our next GNCC event. Make sure to go to GNCCRacing.com for more information.